welcome to another episode of The Adrienne Ross Show, where sports and culture connect. Unrivaled began dispensing awards a few days ago, and on Monday night, the MVP award was given to Napheesa Collier. No surprise there. She is, as I have said many times, a grown woman among little girls when it comes to basketball, and certainly when it comes to Unrivaled. This is the same person who won the one-on-one tournament. This is the same person who leads her team, the Lunar Owls. They had been undefeated for a long time, then had one loss going into last night. It was the semifinals. They lost to Vinyl, a team with a losing record. Who could have thought? In fact, I guess I could have, because I joked a few times, like, wouldn't it be something if Vinyl managed to? Well, yeah, it's no longer an if. Vinyl managed to take down Napheesa Collier and Lunar Owls. Nonetheless, Napheesa Collier is the best player on the floor, period. I'm sure she'd rather have a championship run than the accolade of MVP. But it is what it is. So she received that. Now, just a couple days ago, maybe 2 or 3 days ago, Angel Reese was awarded Defensive Player of the Year. Now, in Unrivaled, Angel did what Angel does. And I'm saying did in the past tense because she suffered an injury to her wrist, the one that had surgery during the WNBA that put her out then. Well, she's out again because of that injury. But Angel did what Angel does. She rebounds the basketball, she bangs, she grinds, she goes after the ball, she plays hard. Now, to be fair, she picked some pockets also. She picked some pockets out on the perimeter. But we got to be honest about Unrivaled. This is 3-on-3, and players are not really going hard on the defensive end. You got a few players who are going hard, but for the most part, it's not a defensive-minded thing for the most part. I mean, people are trying to get down the court. They're content to let Angel Reese get the rebounds. They want to score. It's a lot of running gun, a lot of ugly kind of basketball in the sense that, it's not like strategies. And I mean, there's some of that, but for the most part, people are just running, trying to get up the floor. Hey, Angel, you want to get the rebound? Go and get the rebound. We're trying to get down here. Give me the ball so I can score. They even had an NBA player who was there a few games ago. I think his name was Dre or something like that. I don't rightly remember. And it's not because he's not a star or something. I really don't know. It's just that I've been totally dialed out of the NBA for several years. So I don't even know who most of these players are. But he was there and they had the microphone over. You know how they do a little interview during the game. And, he commented he was having a good time. He was enjoying seeing them play and compete. And he's just like, and there's not really a whole lot of defense going on. And that's okay because it's a different style of basketball, etc. So we're not going to fool ourselves into thinking that people are just really, really dialed in on defense. Not the case. But Angel Reese, she went after rebounds. She leads that league in rebounds throughout the regular season. But she should not, and I repeat, she should not have been Defensive Player of the Year. And I'm just going to keep it real. No way should Angel Reese be Defensive Player of the Year. But before we get into why I say that, I want to show you how the voting goes for these awards, because they've given out, in addition to the MVP and the Defensive Player of the Year, they've done the first team, they've done the second team. How are they coming up with who wins these awards? Let me show you. It's probably hard for you to see because the black background, but down here, it says voting for the all Unrivaled teams was conducted following the conclusion of the regular season. Players were selected without regard to position, and all players, head coaches, and assistant coaches received a vote. Rounding out the voting group, 19 media members voted for the award, with a breakdown of 40% weight to player votes, 35% to coaches, and 25% to media. So that's how the voting went for the first team, for the second team, and also for the other awards. Because when we go up here at the top, it tells us that it says Unrivaled announced today, and that was March 13th. Lunar Owls forward Napheesa Collier, Rose guard Chelsea Gray, and Laces wing Kayla McBride were named to the 2025 first team All Unrivaled. Collier, Gray, and McBride received the most combined votes from the Unrivaled players and coaches and the national panel of sports writers and broadcasters. So the same thing there. Players, coaches, media, broadcasters. Second team, we got Skylar Diggins-Smith, Ryan Howard, and Angel Reese. And they were the next highest vote getters, making them the second team. So you see how that works. It's kind of interesting to me that the players would be given such weighty say in how this all turns out. So there it is. Angel Reese, second team, as well as Defensive Player of the Year. Napheesa Collier, MVP, and of course she had won the one-on-one. Remember, she's a co-founder in this league. I think that's important. I'll get back to that. Angel Reese, Defensive Player of the Year. Why do I say wrong? Makes no sense. Well, we got to look at the numbers for that. The numbers do not back up Angel Reese being Defensive Player of the Year. Take a look for yourself. Again, probably difficult for you to see, but it's the regular season. It's 2025 player stats. Napheesa Collier, MVP, the grown woman among girls. She's way at the top over here, okay? In stats, let's go down. Angel Reese is 17. All right, I already told you Angel Reese leads in rebounds, but we're going to look at some more stats. Remember, this is Defensive Player of the Year. Okay, so it has all the numbers here. Obviously, Napheesa Collier, leads in points, 25.7 points per game. But let's focus in on stats that pertain to defense. All right, we'll start right here. Total rebounds. Napheesa Collier, 10.6 rebounds per game. Got to go down to 17 for Angel Reese. She's listed 17. She has 12.1 rebounds per game. So she's leading in rebounds. 10.6 Napheesa and Angel Reese at 12.1. But let's take a look to the left where we're talking about defensive rebounds per game. That means you're playing proper defense. You're in defensive position. You rebound the ball on the defensive side of the ball. Napheesa Collier, 8.9 defensive rebounds per game. Well, what about Angel Reese? Angel Reese is 8.5 defensive rebounds per game. So Napheesa Collier wins that category. So you got to go to offensive rebounds to see where the difference is made up. Napheesa has 1.7 offensive rebounds per game. Angel has 3.6 offensive rebounds per game. So she's got more offensive rebounds. Some of them from her own misses, not all of them, but some of them from her own misses. But overall, Napheesa Collier is leading defensive rebounding. Let's move on over to steals. Napheesa Collier, 2.0 steals per game. The closest to her in the steals category is Dejanay Carrington with 1.5 steals per game. Nobody else comes close. And Napheesa Collier wins. 2 points, 2.0 steals per game. Angel Reese has 0.7 points per game. 2.0 Napheesa to 0.7 Angel Reese in steals. We're talking about defense. Okay, let's go over the blocks. Well, then Angel must have her beat in that category, right? Think again. Napheesa Collier, 1.4 blocks per game. Angel Reese, how many blocks per game? 0.6 blocks per game from Angel Reese. And yet Angel Reese has Defensive Player of the Year. Well, what about personal fouls? Personal fouls, well, I guess Angel has her beat here. Angel has less personal fouls, which means that her defensive skill is higher. No, Napheesa Collier, 3.4 personal fouls per game. Angel Reese, 3.9 personal fouls per game. So she doesn't even beat her in that category. She gets more defensive fouls. She gets more fouls, I should say. So again, here we go again. Defensive rebounds, Napheesa Collier wins the category. Steals, Napheesa Collier wins the category. Blocks, Napheesa Collier wins the category. Personal fouls, Napheesa Collier wins the category. The only category Angel wins in is overall rebounding, not even defensive rebounding. And yet she gets the Unrivaled inaugural season defensive player of the year. So I got to go, how? Why? Because the numbers don't line up. And don't be mad at me. I'm not the one on the court. I didn't write the numbers. They are what they are. So again, I've seen Angel do some good things. I've seen her pick some pockets. But if you watch the games, this doesn't even make sense. Napheesa Collier, just as she does in the WNBA, here she is doing business in this league. So again, why? I'm going to give you one reason why to start. Napheesa Collier is a co-founder in this league. She won the one-on-one tournament. Her team has the best record. She's the MVP. Now, there is no way in the world Napheesa Collier wasn't going to be MVP. There's no way you could pretend that anyone else deserved to be MVP. So you're going to have her MVP and you're going to have her Defensive Player of the Year after she won the one-on-one tournament and she's the co-founder of the league. This is what I'm talking about. When I did a video about whether this was a rec league, a real league, I should say, or a rec league, WRECK and REC, I said that there was a little bit of a problem because with these players who get up in officials' faces, run up on them and get in their faces and some of the stuff, getting kicked out of a game, coming back, taking selfies, all that kind of stuff that we've seen during Unrivaled. Not that everybody's doing wild stuff. That's not the case. There's some good stuff going on, but there's too much of the stuff that's unprofessional. And when you have a Napheesa Collier and a Breanna Stewart who are co-founders and also playing in the league, I think it creates an interesting dynamic that makes it kind of like, how are you going to do this? Because your players, some of them need to be reprimanded, but you're also their peer. So how do you do that? And I think it carries over to these awards. You can't even possibly pretend that anyone else other than Napheesa Collier is the MVP. So you sort of justify Angel Reese being the Defensive Player of the Year, and you use that one rebounding stat as your reason because you don't want her, meaning Napheesa Collier, to be MVP and Defensive Player of the Year and the one-on-one winner, even though she deserves all of it. So that's one reason. As co-founder of the league, I think they purposely didn't want her to get what she deserves. But another reason, might even be a bigger reason, is that now you get to say Angel Reese is the Defensive Player of the Year. Angel Reese, because of course, everybody wants to prop up Angel Reese. Angel Reese is the most recognizable name and face in Unrivaled. So now you get to say Angel Reese is balling out. I mean, you see it on social media. Oh, these people didn't believe in Angel Reese. Oh, these people tried to downplay her. Oh, put some respect on her name. All I got to do is look at the stats. And I know that she did not deserve to be Defensive Player of the Year. But it's Angel Reese, and there's a narrative to be pushed. And you bring in the players, and you bring in the coaches, and the media. We know how that goes. And voila, you have Angel Reese as the inaugural Defensive Player of the Year in Unrivaled, even though our eyes and the numbers tell us it should be Napheesa Collier. who's racking up everything else, maybe that's too much. I'm just saying, there's no way it should be Angel, but can it be Napheesa when she's the co-owner, co-founder, I should say, and all the other accolades she deserves? So it gets a little bit messy, I think. That's where I stand on the issue. They're going to kind of have to figure this out, but it shouldn't be Angel. And that's just, I'm not throwing shade. I'll give her credit where she gets credit. She's picked some pockets. She's grabbed some rebounds. Not like everybody else is trying to grab a whole bunch of rebounds, but she's still losing in every category. I mean, she's got the overall rebounds, but the defensive rebounds, she's losing in that category. How is she Defensive Player of the Year other than what I suggested? You get in the comments. What do you think? Subscribe to the channel if you haven't done so. And also, before I go, Unrivaled championship game is tonight. Rose versus Vinyl. Who would have thought Vinyl would be in it? Vinyl is in it. I'm going live for it. At least that's my plan. Feel free to join me. We have a great time. I'll catch you next time, God willing. God bless you abundantly.